still watching Prime Morning. It's time for us to delve into what the newspapers have for us. And you know, anytime it's News Flash, we have people who represent the two top political parties in Ghana, talking about the NDC and the NPP. But before I introduce them to you, let me first of all brief you on the headlines that the newspapers are reporting, and then I introduce to you my guests. I'll start off with the very first one, which happens to be the Daily Graphic newspaper. BOG adds 7.70 tons of gold to reserves, which is good news for Ghana. Graphic GCB Bank PLC strengthen collaboration. The banner headline reads, Nation needs emergency energy plan, says the World Bank. These are many more stories that we'll be discussing today. Damongo constituency with rich culture and history. And we'll look at the back page of the Daily Graphic newspaper, and it reads, medical waste treatment plant commissioned in Kumasi. Another good news. All right, more stories here. I'll do the Finder newspaper. The Finder newspaper reads, mining as a catalyst for industrialization is focus of our policies, says Jinapo. Our resource grassroots to lead 2024 campaign, says Dr. Akofoda. Dr. Akoto has spoken. We know that a few others have spoken. Kwabena Japo has spoken. But who are the top 5 that are going to represent the NPP in November to run for the flag bearership? Because, yeah, we see the campaign going on. It's going strong. But we still don't know who the 5 will be. So are they throwing away their money, or... well, we don't know. Ghana gets first ultra-modern medical waste treatment plan. NPP is against LGBTQI plus in team declares and wants NDC to stop tagging NPP with it. Presidential Special Initiatives is the brainchild of Alan, says Nyama. More stories in here. Tackle energy challenges to avert economic crisis, says the World Bank. Mining as a catalyst for industrialization is focus of our policies. Jinapo has spoken about it. I read it earlier. Finance Minister to present a mid-year budget review on July 25th. I know we are all waiting for it, and we can't wait to hear what he has to say. Ghana gets first ultra-modern medical waste treatment plant, and that will be all for the Finder newspaper. I'll quickly go to the Ghanaian Publisher newspaper. The Ghanaian Publisher, Kofua's PSI's Alan brainchild, says Nyama. Battle against streetism, Supreme Court to give verdict in November. Jinapo hints at mining policy review. Stop it, Adum Ochre cautions IGP over elite force. Dr. Free Akoto poised to break the 8, pledges to resource frontline workers. Gallup, World Bank applauds Ghana over gains in education. All right, government begins a domestic debt exchange for $809 million US bond. FDA cautions against the production of sachet bottled water without license. It's overdue. It's long overdue. Long overdue. GMPC Foundation commissions 6 projects in Central Region. Ghana gets first ultra-modern medical waste treatment plant. And let me see, Sono Asogli donates 150,000 Ghana cedis to establish environmental sustainability fund for all. Let's do the Daily Guide newspaper. 4 arrested over Ablekuma cop killing, and there is a man here. We don't know if he's Ghanaian or if he's Nigerian. He's called Blessing Injoma, and he's one of the suspects. But is he Ghanaian or he's Nigerian? Seriously, because yesterday when I saw the picture, I got a bit confused. I got very upset if he's not Ghanaian. Like, yo, you leave your country and you come and commit such crime in Ghana? Really? Anyway, we'll continue. Bank of Ghana increases gold reserves. Forest guard goes missing. Oh my goodness, I hope he's found alive. 2 perish in mining pit, and Educhum endorses Baumia. That will be for Daily Guide. Let me see some stories in here. Ajete Anand denies cheating sexually. Now, he was under backlash over the weekend because he came out to say that his cheating meant hag. Wow. Married man, you have cheated, though. I mean, if you hug a lady, you have cheated on your wife. Okay. Ajite Anand says he never had any sexual relationship with anybody. He said he hacked. The feathers was hacked. Okay, y'all keep quiet. Hack. Okwegumante to contest Ayenswano seat. Of course, Mark, good morning. You watch us every morning. Honorable Bakope. We wish you nothing but the best, Honorable. Ghana Party in the Park Festival postponed. World Bank applauds government for tackling energy sector challenges. Ghanaians must benefit from mining industry. Jubilee South East project starts, and MTN invests 93.2 million Ghana cedis in social impact project. Let's see the back page. Some sports here. Bayern boss sure of Kane capture. Fun causes crash taking selfie at Tour de France. Arsenal grab rights for a record fee, and Maguire stripped of Man U captaincy. Hey, Man U, is everything safe at Man U? Is everything okay? Are we doing well, Man U fans? Are we doing well? Are we right? The Republic Press newspaper. Amidu digs into Dampari tape, discounts IGP's neutrality. Falling cop honored as police grab fourth killer. Ken opens fire on Baumia boys, threatened to retaliate if attacks on him continue. Let's be decisive in the fight against Galamsey. House of Chiefs says so. Activities of LGBTQ+ are evil and abominable, says House of Chiefs, and desist from functioning as government institutions or agencies. All right, let's see anything here as well. All right, that's it for the Republic. The New Crusading Guide. New Crusading Guide of Oricrom constituency validates Joseph Teyuri. Amen wins Herbal Hospital of the Year award. Ayepe to contest Ayenswano seat. Okay, Ayepe. Oh, I hope I got your name right. Ayepe or Ayepe. Okay. Police officer fingered. Okay, demolition exercise. The news, it's very difficult to see what's here because we are not seeing well, but all I see is police officer fingered. And Ghana lacks proper implementation of poverty alleviation policies, says economist. Any stories in here? Legibility of doctors' handwriting poses challenges for healthcare professionals and patients. I've never thought of this, but this could be true, because sometimes you go there and they give you the wrong medicine. Is it that the pharmacists can't read what the doctors are writing? Because we can't read what the doctors are writing. So what's going on? Maybe that could be true. Access to law profession in Ghana made easy. Third suspect in Ablekuma bullion van robbery arrested in Togo. And I must say kudos to the police for this. Kudos. Ghana's energy crisis demands immediate attention, says World Bank. Dampare, one of your excellent appointments, Imani boss to Ekufuado. Anti-gay bill, Parliament will not be deterred by legal actions, says Ayariga. And that'll be all for the New Crusading Guide newspaper. I'll do the final newspaper, which happens to be the Dispatch newspaper. And it reads, MPA is there to ensure consumers get value for money, top official says so. Analyzing Ghana's opponents for 2026 World Cup qualifiers. So the US and the Canada we go some. Because that's why if we don't go, I don't know. We have to go. We have to. It's our people's gateway to heaven. So please, we have to go for this one. Focus on Greater Accra's Lojokuku seat, where no MP has been retained since 1996. Oh, wow. I see. 6 years after commissioning Atamil's library, it is to start operating in 3 months. Finally. And that will be all for the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Well, earlier I did promise to introduce my guests to you. And we are still waiting for our guest from the NPP, but our guest for the NDC seated. He's in the person of Mr. Benjamin Kofi Kwashi. He is the chairman of Council Elders, NDC South Africa. Good morning. How are you, Mr. Kwashi?
Fairly, how are you too?
I'm fine, thank you, and it's good to have you here.
Good to be
first
here.
time joining us.
Yes, good to be here.
And you are not in Ghana, you don't reside in Ghana?
No, not
Okay.
permanently, but I frequent Ghana so well.
Right, and you reside in South Africa?
Yes.
I'm guessing.
Yes.
Okay, that's nice. And you're championing the affairs of NDC in South Africa?
Of course, in South Africa and the other chapters across the globe.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
And so I'll say welcome, a big welcome to our show for the first time. We hope that we have a lot of fun with you on this show and we get a lot of insights from you. Now, we have a lot of topics that we are discussing. Let's first of all start with what the World Bank has said before we delve into other stories. We know that the World Bank has said that the nation needs emergency energy plan, and I'll read a little bit about it before I take your opinion on it. The World Bank has advised the government to implement an urgent emergency energy action plan to address challenges in the country's energy sector. The World Bank Managing Director in charge of operations, Anne Berge, I hope your name is right, who made the call, said the country's problems in the energy sector were very serious and will get worse with debilitating effects on economic growth if not addressed. So it means that we are sitting on a time bomb. Yeah. Your take on it?
I think this call has come several times about us having an energy plan, and sometimes I have always believed that if we are able to do things right, we should be an exporter of even energy. I listened to our ranking member, Honorable Jinapo, when he outlined some of the challenges that we are having in the energy sector. And I think as a country, we need to have a concerted effort in ensuring that managers of the economy are able to come up with the policy as the World Bank is saying. I think this time around, it's not the government being called upon by any other person, but by the World Bank. And we know we have a program with them as well. So we need to adhere to it and ensure that as a people, we don't get ourselves in a ditch again, and coming out should become very difficult. And I think we need to heed what the World Bank has said.
But it tells us that, because we know that we are out of doomsday. Yeah. The era of doomsday. We've been told several times doomsday is over, doomsday. But what World Bank is telling us is a little bit different, isn't it?
Very different. It's been a tug of war between the two political parties, my NDC and then the MPP, where we talk about excess capacity. You could hear always that they say there's no excess capacity. Investments in the energy sector that were made were overdone here and there. But from what the World Bank says now, it's an indictment on the managers of the economy and the managers of the country, that indeed there is a looming crisis that we need to avert. And so we should stop the talking, we should stop the political talking about these things and ensure that we get to work and get it right.
And so we are hoping that we get to work and get it right, because it's just an eye-opener, I must say, because you are there, you are told everything is okay. We know that we still have some debt with the IPPs.
Yes.
Negotiations are still going on. Conversations are ongoing.
Yes.
But what World Bank is saying is, you know what? Aside the IPPs, there's more that you are not telling the world. Exactly. There's more you're not telling Ghanaians.
Which is one thing that every citizen of Ghana needs to hold this government accountable for. Because remember, if you present us the good side of the policies and not telling us the realities on the ground, who are you fooling? Are you fooling Ghanaians? We should not make it a matter of the next election. We should make it a matter of ensuring that Ghanaians are okay. This energy crisis sector that we are talking about, it's something that should be devoid of the politics, because we should ensure that we don't go back to the era of doomsday, because we know already our economies are ailing, and if we should add doomsday to it, it will be worse than any other thing.
How do we get them to start talking, to give us some transparency?
Very well, like the World Bank has said, we've not gotten any reactions from government yet, and I'm sure that if government comes up with the reactions, we'll be able to interrogate what the World Bank says against what they say, and we should be objective enough.
Right. Anyway, another story that, we ought to talk about is the trafficking, child trafficking. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen the documentary where BBC has opened our eyes to a different side of the trafficking. We all thought that, there was a savior, only for us to realize that this savior was not as much of a savior like we thought. Only for us to also realize that out of 100 children that were saved, only 20% of this were children who were actually being trafficked. The rest were not being trafficked. And there's one little girl who actually shared her story. She said she was taken out of her grandmother's home, where her grandmother was held at gunpoint. What is the need for this? Now, let me take your opinion on this particular issue.
I think child trafficking has been a major issue that we've dealt with as a nation and as the whole world. Looking at the report that came out, for me, it was an indictment, especially on some of the people who proclaim to be fighting child trafficking. And listening to the story of that young girl, I feel that it's an initiative that the world has embraced. But just like any human institution, there are certain people who take advantage of the system. And I think that once the documentary played out and they have admitted guilt, it shouldn't end at that point. We should ensure that, when policymakers are speaking about child trafficking, we should look at honesty. We should look at them being factual to the facts. And I believe that even though there has been an acceptance, an apology, an admission, we should go beyond that, because there are issues of human rights and there are ethical issues as well.
Is this apology enough? Because it's not enough.
It's not enough.
So let me read a little bit. In a series of rescue missions in 2017, International Justice Mission removed over 100 children from Pala Island and other fishing communities. Now, this is the shocking part. Only 20% of the children were confirmed as victims of trafficking. BBC Africa Eye went undercover to reveal 2 more rescue missions supported by IJM, resulting in relatives being prosecuted and communities stigmatized.
Which it's an affront to us against the fight of human trafficking and child trafficking. I think it's a shame. Reading the report, it's not what we expected that these organizations find themselves in. But like I said, it's a human institution. There are other ones that are doing brilliantly, and this one has admitted, but we should move beyond the admittance.
We should prosecute.
Yes, we should, because remember, there are ethical issues and there are human rights issues. So just apologizing is not enough. Those who committed this should be held responsible and face the rigors of the law.
And the sad part is that some of the family members actually got prosecuted. At no fault of theirs.
Exactly.
They did nothing.
Which makes this whole documentary one that has exposed us to the realities on the ground. It's not everybody that is prosecuted that indeed had committed any crime. And like I said, this is an indictment on human rights, so it needs to be investigated thoroughly and those involved punished accordingly.
All right. So for those of you at home who are a little bit confused about this, I want you to take a look at this, where Kofi Bentil had an interview with the manager or the country manager for IJM. Please take a look at it.
So a lot of dialogue. What we really pride ourselves on is building good relationship with our government partners. And so having dialogue as to what can work better and together moving forward in that. And so with this, yes, of course, things did not go 100% to plan, or as we would put it, but there are lessons to be learned and we'll move forward with that. We always look to learn. We always look to grow. I would say that on the face of it, there is a sense that there is a human face or human element in terms of feelings, emotions, and sentiments. We had no wrongdoing in terms of the processes and steps. And so what the learning really is in terms of nuance, where these are very unique cases, I must say. We've had over 70 cases that we've worked through and supported with our government agencies. And so there are particular cases where there are nuances and not the same as the standard. And these are the lessons that we want to sit with our government partners to look through these complexities and see how they are dealt with and managed in the future. We've taken a lot of lessons from
this is what Anita Budu had to say when she was asked about the BBC documentary, and it's quite an eye-opener. If you haven't watched it, you can go on there and have a look at it. Of course, the news file had an interview with her as well, and she did speak about the fact that yes, they do accept that they made a lot of wrongs and they ought to correct it, but Is it just going to end there? Because these are innocent families that got persecuted. Now, we know that a statement has also been made, and this is coming from Kofi Bentil, and he says, poverty is a multi-billion industry. People are exploiting it. Very true.
Yeah.
Very, very true. Because if these children were coming from rich homes, or if these people who were prosecuted were from rich homes, of course, the story would have been different. Let me introduce my next guest to you, Enoch Afuakwa, National Communications Team Member for the NPP. Hello.
Hi.
How come you're late? What happened?
I overslept. I overslept.
How come? What did you do last night?
Tired. I was preparing some documents, and honestly, I finished the preparation of the document very late.
Okay.
So as I woke up, I tried waking up early, a bit early.
Okay.
The energy wasn't there.
So you're pardoned then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've met Mr. Kwashi.
Yeah.
He's represented the NDC, and so first time meeting him. Anyway, so we are talking about
Council of Elders.
Yes.
Yes. So okay.
Oh, you know about him, eh?
I saw on your flyer. He's a council of Elders, but he's a young man, but council of Elders. That's quite strange. You know?
Why is it strange?
Council of Elders, I believe it should be a council of the youth.
Will you say that the NDC gives the young people opportunities as compared to the NPP?
No, not really. Not really. The description is what, judging from when you mention Council of Elder, mostly it's people within the pension bracket.
Okay.
Above the age of 60 years. Former President Rawlings and the likes, Tobi Kwasi and the likes that are seen within the Council of Elders of the National Democratic Congress. When you come to the NPP, you have the Honorable Hakman, also Ajiman, my venerable Dr. Kwame Adokufo, J. Kufuor, His Excellency J. Kufuor and the likes. So as a young person, like my brother, he has been a Council of Elder member of the National Democratic Congress. Well, maybe he has some qualities that he supports the elders with, and maybe he's serving as a bridge with between the youth and the elders. So let's acknowledge that.
So in the foreign chapters, like it is, the Council of Elders are made up of young people and elderly people as well.
Oh, okay.
So that's how we bridge the gap.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Anyway, Enoch is here, and Enoch, we are talking about the BBC documentary, the Opener documentary, let me put it like that. We know IJM, of course, we thought it was the rescue mission that was rescuing a lot of children from child trafficking, but the story seemed to be different. Now, this is what caught my attention. When a former worker was interviewed, what he said was that they were given target. Yeah. And you ought not to go on a mission without rescuing a child. Hence, whether the child is being trafficked or not, you ought to take the child from the parents and take the child back that you have rescued a child. And some of these parents, unfortunately, have even been prosecuted.
Yeah.
Sadly, at no fault of theirs, a young lady narrated her story and said she was taken out of her grandparents' house at gunpoint, which is another sad one, because again, you ask yourself, could this be poverty?
Yeah.
Could it be more than that? What is government officials doing about it? How come we waited for BBC to unveil this? What happened to us? This is our land. Why couldn't we see this happening to our young ones? Why couldn't we protect our Ghanaians, the poor ones? Let me come to you, Enoch.
Yeah, thank you, Asantua.
Rosalind,
sorry. Let me say good morning to your cherished viewers. Because a lot of people are glued to the set watching Joy Prime this morning because of the industry that you demonstrate on set and the knowledge that you churn around this country. And extend the good wishes of His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to the good people of Ghana, that he's committed in serving the good people of Ghana well, and he's committed to execute the social contract he has with the good people of Ghana, and that they should continue. The people of Ghana should continue to have faith in him and support his government to achieve the targets and all the policies that he has outlined for the benefit of the good people of Ghana. That come 7th January 2025, people will attest to his stewardship. That yes, he made some promises and he's a promise doer. He has achieved all those feats. Rosalind, judging from the IGM issues, in Ghana and the world at large, human trafficking or child trafficking is a jus cogens matter. International law forbids that you traffic human beings, notwithstanding even children. And the laws of the world, the laws of Ghana, international laws, are paramountly the interest of the welfare of the children are what is paramount, judging from our Children's Act and the Children's Amendment Act, the Act 937 and the likes. So looking at the structures that we have in our country, the social systems that we have in our country, though we have some challenges as far as financing our social infrastructure and dams to support all these laudable causes are concerned, we have 9 structures that we have in our country: the social service department, the social welfare department, we have the National Adoption Authority, and a whole lot of systems put in place by law to support the welfare and interest of our young people. Our country, as a democratic country, embraces the performance or the contribution of all and sundry as far as the building of our nation is concerned. Right. That is why we open our arms to welcome the non-governmental organizations interested in supporting government and our nation in various causes. Your government cannot do it all. The eyes of government cannot be everywhere to see whatever is going on. It is through you, the media, the fourth estate of the realm, through other well-meaning Ghanaians, to draw attention of government and the state to some matters of illegalities going on in our system. And judging from the BBC documentary on human trafficking, as far as the works of IGM is concerned, it calls for further investigations from our security agencies to establish whether there is a collusion, whether it's a joint enterprise liability as far as crime is concerned, so that we can niche the bud and prevent similar occurrences in other organizations pretending to be working the interests of the state, but hitherto are interested in profiteering, making huge or maximum profits as a result of what they are doing. Like Kofi Bentil said, that poverty is he described as what?
Is that poverty is a multi-billion industry?
Absolutely. It's a multi-billion industry. That's why you have organ harvesting, you have human trafficking, you have all these crimes going. But for poverty, who will donate organ? But for poverty, who will traffic human being? But for, human trafficking is another way of slavery. It's another way of slavery, because where they take these children to? Some people take their children out to harvest their organs. Yeah. People take their children out, forced labor, and a whole lot of things in breach of their human rights, in breach of their dignity as human beings, as our constitution frowns upon it. Our constitution, and I think Article 14 or 15 of our constitution frowns on impugning on human dignity and theirs. So, in as much as our structures as a country, our democratic principles and ideals forbid some of these things, we need not to allow charlatans to pretend to be working in the interest of the state while they are profiting as a result of what they are doing. By and large, you mentioned that some parents were convicted as a result of this and they committed no crime. I disagree in that score, because the court is not a court that is used in perpetuating crime. Before a court can convict in a criminal liability, the actuation and the measure must coincide in time. The intent and the action must coincide in time before conviction can take place, as far as criminal prosecutions are concerned. In criminal trials, the standards are higher, because you must prove beyond reasonable doubt that crime has been committed, and it was committed by no other person than the accused person. So, insofar as someone has been convicted, let us honor the court that yes, probably there was something there, but look further to see whether those parents colluded, because once we are describing poverty as a multi-billion-dollar enterprise, some parents voluntarily also sell their kids.
Oh, that's true. And the report actually did say that 20% of the children that were saved at that time were actually being trafficked. Sure. So it's true. Some of them do, but what if you are so poor and you are so defenseless that you don't have somebody to say anything for you or to speak on your behalf? What then happens? And that is where poverty is coming in. That is where, Kofi Bentil is speaking about, because he's speaking about the fact that if not for poverty, these things will not be happening. If not for poverty, I will have somebody to defend me. If I'm taken to the court of law and I don't have defense, what happens? I cannot afford it. Nobody speaks on my behalf, and somebody says, you have killed this person. They bring all the kind of evidence, but nobody's there to defend me.
You see, Rosalind, we have social systems in place. I have worked for the Legal Aid Commission in the past, sometime in July to October last year. I was with the Legal Aid Commission, and the fantastic job that the Legal Aid Commission, the officers at the Legal Aid Commission are doing, is mind-blowing. It's really mind-blowing. We work on appeals, on convicts, even serving their jail terms at the Nsawam prisons and most of our prisons around the country. Although the commission is under-resourced, but the significant work that the officers, the lawyers, the non-lawyers within the commission are doing in the interest of our country is mind-blowing.
That's so true.
You see, there's no way that you'll be put before court for trial on human trafficking, which is a high crime something. That the learned court will not request that the accused person be represented. No, under no circumstances, because the offense of human trafficking, the penalty is huge. So certainly, the person that is being tried on human trafficking must have a fair representation as far as the laws are concerned. And no matter the status of the person, if the person is unable to procure a lawyer or the service of a solicitor himself or herself, then the court will order that the Legal Aid Commission should take charge to give the person a fair representation as far as that trials are concerned.
Okay.
So certainly, these people that they have been named or they have been convicted in the past to have engaged themselves in human trafficking or to have engaged themselves in child trafficking.
Or who have been
convicted. We must look into those matters well. We must be careful how we discuss those matters, bringing in the dignity of the courts, our venerable courts, into that perspective. And credit the court that the court have done a good work. Until we get judgments in that regard, go through the judgment and see errors or flaws within the judgment. As far as the records of proceedings are concerned, then we can say that, there was fault here. The judge, the learned judge, erred in this regard. The trial, they ought to have done this. There was a breach of natural justice. The court lacked jurisdiction as far as the trial of that said circumstance was concerned, and a whole lot of that. But notwithstanding that, we should not use the documentary from BBC to castigate and lampoon our court that the court have perpetuated crime against vulnerable people in society who ought to have been protected.
Right. Anyway, from what the documentary says, the documentary is not speaking against the court, though. From what they say, again, I'll say that they never spoke against the court. Let me bring you in, Benjamin.
I think listening to Kofi Bentil and juxtaposing it to what we saw in the documentary, it's a case prevalent in sub-Saharan Africa, especially because of our prone to poverty and all of that. And if you look at the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, it has been our clarion call as a region to ensure that poverty is alleviated. Now, in such instances, there are good people that are working towards that, and there are other bad people, like we've seen. Like I indicated earlier, this is an indictment. This is a call to all those organizations that deal in child trafficking and human trafficking to ensure that they are a bit meticulous when it comes to their approach into allowing other organizations to do their work. Clearly, like my brother said, we should know that there are brilliant other organizations that are doing a perfect work. The dent should not transcend all others. We should look at making sure that this one is at it's quickly singled out and the punishment or whatever quickly given out. In that state, it becomes imperative that other organizations will see that, look, we're going to be meticulous on you going forward. Ensure that you don't take advantage. Ensure that what you are there to do, helping alleviate poverty, helping children and women become who we want them to be, especially in our part of the sub-Saharan Africa. I think if we should be able to do this, it will go a long way to ensure that we would have good people in this industry and they will not make poverty a business-making venture.
Alleviation of poverty goes a long way. It's not going to be today. I always say this. We talk about the fight, but fact be told, or truth be told, it's not even in the next 20 years.
Absolutely.
It's probably in the next 100 years.
Absolutely.
It depends on the structures.
So you see, that's what I was going to ask you. What can we do to quicken it? Because some people from the West, I won't say it's just, some people from the West, this is their business strategy. Let's go to Africa. They are poor. We go to the poor zones and we make money off them.
Absolutely.
Some of them will even tell, the organizations, give us money. We are going to use it to start, something in the village in this village there. And they are making the money off these poor people. How do we prevent this from happening?
You see, Rosalind, governments all over Africa have now seen the light that Africa as a continent must begin to trade among ourselves and do business together. We cannot continue to live as units. minute units, as countries, as sovereign states, will be impoverished. So the brilliant idea that was brought on board, as far as the continent is concerned, for the first time, the second biggest free trade area, the African continental free trade area, if leaders in Africa put in their best, I'm talking of the presidents, eschew their sovereignty and make sure that the tenets of this African continental free trade area works. Even the World Bank, the multinational World Bank, the British Wood institutions are even projecting that it has the potential of elevating people from the lowest bracket as far as poverty is concerned within the African continent. Almost about 6%. The projection was in for 2 years that almost about 6% of the people of Africa will be moved out of the poverty lines, the lowest poverty lines. Income generations and dams will be improved. And this will cushion the various sovereign states in Africa and put us at a pedestal. God did not make Africa poor. We have all the essential resources.
And the good thing is, even our gold is going up. We are getting more gold in our reserves.
We are getting more resources.
So God is even giving us more. So why? What is the problem?
Lithium. Talk of all the minerals. We have all the minerals. But you see the extraction during the colonial eras I've been mentioning here, that the whites or the colonial masters deliberately divided the world into two. We have the industrial world, which is the global north countries. And we have the global south countries, that is the global poor. That we are raw material producing economies. That we should produce raw materials, cocoa beans, we should produce bauxite. Even our bauxite were not refined. We just take it in raw form to their countries, and they take all the minerals, including even our sand, for whatever means that they want to use them for. And now we are seeing the light in terms of industrialization. Once we put ourselves together, we become stronger. Look at the population in Africa. Once we begin to trade among ourselves, at least poverty, we can reduce poverty in Africa within a space of, like, say, less than 10 years. We should be able to reduce the poverty.
But when is this
Africa
coming to being? We've heard about it. When are we implementing it? When are we seeing the effect take place, Benjamin?
I think this goes to the doorsteps of our policymakers and our politicians. The willpower. The willpower to ensure that we alleviate poverty. Look, I have said that when you, from South Africa, where I'm coming from, there are a lot of poverty alleviation mechanisms that have been put in place by government. And so you have areas where there are poor people and they don't pay for electricity, they don't pay for water. There is a monthly stipend that is given. These things move us gradually out of the poverty bracket. And you see, when someone is poor, they are susceptible to anything that happens.
Yeah.
And so I would believe that governments need to take the bull by the horn and ensure, like he has rightly said, there are brilliant institutions that are doing things to alleviate people from sub-Saharan Africa from this. The truth of the matter is that we have a long way to go, whether we like it or not. It is our wish that poverty is halved on our continent. But it will take a lot of work from policymakers, the technocrats, and especially governments. The willpower to ensure that our people don't remain poor forever so that we can go to the West and be asking for money to alleviate poverty. Let's rather bring them out so that out of the poverty level, we can together and collectively build our societies.
But then again, we have policies, a simple policy like, the free SHS. I'll ask, is that a way to alleviate poverty?
Yeah, it is a way. Educating their mind, training the minds of the people to be able to know the right and wrong, to be able to have skill, to be able to have the skill set in pushing forth their interests and their contribution towards nation building. But for education, we wouldn't have been here.
Yeah.
But for education, you wouldn't have been here. There are quite a number of people outside who can be here, or who would have the opportunity to be here, or who could have done better than we are doing here, but they lack certain requirements. That is education.
Yeah.
Now, free education is serving almost a good number of people. Over 2 million people are benefiting from free education. And look at the contribution of these people. Because if you want to move people away from poverty, they must be enlightened. And how do you enlighten these people? Through education. Access. If I don't have the access or the means to procure or to get myself educated, How do I get educated? So government, as far as its poverty reduction measure, introduced a free education policy to be able to groom the next generation of people for our country, so that we wouldn't have the skill set that we are having today. Now we have a semi-skilled society. And Ghana, to the best of my knowledge, it's a youth badge. We have a youthful population. People from the age of 14 to 25 years, look at the percentage as far as our statistics are concerned, are huge. So we have a huge potential of youth who are capable of managing our country and building a stronger nation for us. Now Canada and other countries are advertising for immigrants because they're short of the strength, the youth people or the working class, that they have an aged population. Their population is aged, it is tilted because the people who are above the age of, let's say, 60 years are more than even those who are capable of working because of their social systems. But in our case, we have more younger people than the aged people. So it means that we have the capability of growing faster than those countries.
Right.
So if you are able to educate them well, then
we are on a good course. Then.
We are on a good course.
Okay, so then that's what we need to do to try and alleviate poverty. So the West, some people from the West, not everybody. So I can't say that it's everybody. Some people from the West do not take advantage of the less privileged. Our next topic has to do with gold. Of course, we are getting more gold. Like I said, it looks like God is blessing us with more gold as we are mining. As Galamsey is still there, but we are still getting gold. BOG adds 7.70 tons of gold to its reserves, meaning it's good. What will this do for our economy? Let me start with you, Benjamin.
I think I have always maintained that when the economy is good, when the economy thrives, it doesn't matter your political coloration. Ghanaians become okay. Ghanaians are able to lead life in a more meaningful way. So the BOG coming up with that is a brilliant idea for me, and where I sit, and from the NDC perspective, it's a brilliant idea. And it's a brilliant achievement to say as well. But, the Bank of Ghana, under the current leadership, Mr. Addison, and the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, we have seen that some of these deals or some of these achievements are crowded in a bit of secrecy because if you ask me till now, the minority in Parliament had asked on behalf of Ghanaians that the government comes up with policy on its gold for oil transactions, which we've still not received. And so if the BOG comes up with this figure and bundles it around and we say, okay, that is it, and they don't give us what we need to be able to know that the figures they are churning out are the right figures. Because remember, just quite recently, the World Bank had cause to say that certain figures were presented to them that were different from the figures that
were presented in Parliament.
So it becomes very difficult when you are discussing these matters, because for me and for the NDC and where we sit, these things should be seen helping our people. These things should be seen alleviating poverty in our societies. These things should be seen in developing the economy for all of us as Ghanaians, irrespective of our political colorations. And I look at this report by the BOG, and I believe that if the BOG is more open, transparent, and gives us the figures and things that we can work around to ensure that exactly what they say is what is happening. The reserves, happy that they've gone up. What is it going to do to help the ordinary Ghanaian? How is it going to be used to pay the fees for school feeding caterers who says they cannot cook for our kids again? Suppliers of food products who says they cannot supply any food products again because there's no money. I think the government and the Bank of Ghana should channel this thing into making sure that the economy that we find ourselves in, the doldrums that we find ourselves in, it's not a matter of saying that our reserves have gone high. It's a matter of saying that the reserves have gone high and it's helping alleviate the plight of our people. In that sense, then it means that it is channeled for the proper cause. Then we can all applaud them. But again, let me state before I land that it's a good thing that our reserves have gone up. Let's just hope that the figures that have been given are the true reflection of what it is.
Right, Enoch.
Rosalind, that's a quite laudable step of the government of the day. For the first time in the history of our country that we've been able to add 7.7 tons of gold to our gold reserve. You know, the United Kingdom, they don't have a single gold mine, but they have one of the biggest stock of gold reserves as far as their reserves are concerned, as far as the world economy, the treasuries of the world are concerned. They don't have a single gold mine, but they have.
Well, it's believed they got the gold from Africa, though.
Yeah. Whether they got it from Africa, whether they got it from wherever,
but it's believed that they got it from Africa.
I don't care where they got it from.
Okay.
But my interest is that they don't have a single gold mine, but they have the biggest or the largest stock of gold reserves in the world. That tells you that and look at their pound, their currency. The pound is one of the revered currencies in the world. Judging from their smallest or their minute nature as a country. Look at their economy. But because of the reserve that they have, it stabilizes their currency and it stabilizes their economy. We as a gold mining economy, a gold mining community, should endeavor to have more of these reserves, because looking at the abundant, the numerous number of gold mines scattered dotted around our country, from the coast up north to Pusiga, the Banji mines, Anglo Gold, Ashanti, Goldfields, Ghana, mention. We have the single largest gold mine in Africa. That is the Anglo Gold, Ashanti, Obuasi mine. And now we are priding ourselves that we have 7.7 kilograms, tons of gold. It means that in the past, we did not take interest in building our reserves as far as our gold resources are concerned. And if we've seen the light, that is the way to go. Dubai is buying more gold. India is buying more gold. UK is buying more gold to stock their reserves. And we are starting. Yes,
but if we are doing gold for oil, won't it affect these reserves in future? Because, it's not always that you're going to be getting the gold. No. So the time that you don't have gold, what happens to your reserves? It means that you have to use these reserves to trade in for oil.
No. You see, the gold for oil policy came in as a stopgap measure to mitigate certain shocks that were coming. That due to the fluctuation of oil, the energy prices around the market as a result of the impact of the Russia-Ukraine war. Russia produces a lot of oil, and due to the war in Ukraine, there were some sanctions on Russia as far as trading in international commodities and the likes are concerned. So it affected world economy, and the interest of this, the oil producers, the OPEC members, that they want to also make some gains. So they also reduce the production of oil. I think they dropped by 1 million barrels or so that the prices, demand will be high, the supply will be low, so that they can also make more profit as a result of this. So we having gold, and people also need gold. Then we decided to go on a barter that bring oil, so that we also give you gold, so we can have a stabilized economy. Because if you decide to go in for the currency, that is the trading currency around the world for oil, the US dollar, certainly it will affect our CD devaluation higher. Government brought this in and to stabilize the energy sector. And once the energy sector is stabilized, I believe that if gold prices certainly go up, government will neither wish to also continue to do this barter thing for others.
But the question here is, how much gold is given out for what quantity of oil? Ghanaians still don't know that. Ghanaians have been told that we will be told. And that is what we keep hearing. Oh, you'll be told, don't worry. But it's been a while now where we know that our gold is being traded for oil. Yes, we do appreciate that we are getting stabilized prices for oil, but how much gold of ours is going out there? Why is there no transparency in here?
There is transparency. The responsibility of Parliament is to have oversight responsibility over the executive. And certainly, you cannot go to the Chamber of Parliament if a Parliament requests for certain information, that you go and lie on the floor of Parliament, amounts to contempt of Parliament.
Nobody knows how much gold.
No, so our parliamentarians must take the step in asking the energy minister to also make certain disclosures.
They have asked.
They've tabled a lot of motions.
So certainly let us wait to get the figures from the energy minister or from Parliament, so that we have records to speak with. We cannot continue to be speculating. That is a policy of government.
Yes. We can't continue to be
that is a policy of government that is serving the good people of our country well. With regards to how much of gold goes into this, where we get these gold resources from, how much money that we invest in getting the gold that we use in trading for our oil policy. Certainly, we need certain disclosures. I believe that once Parliament have tabled this on the floor of Parliament, there will be some answers to it that will inform the people of Ghana as to the quantum of gold, how much government invests, and where.
But let me ask you first: if you were in opposition and the other political party, it could be any political party, let's not even say NDC, because we have PNC, we have so many political parties, CPP and the likes of the others. If they made such a decision without telling Ghanaians what exactly is going out there, because we are the taxpayers, it's our money, it's our gold, it's our land, and it's going out there, would you fight for the people, or will you say that, oh, let's wait for the parliamentarians to fight for them?
Certainly, in our democratic setting, we have structures in resolving some of these matters. And as far as our governance is concerned, we have 3 arms of government. And by virtue of practice and convention, your realm has been added by convention as the 4th estate of the realm to churn out informations, but it must be educative informations and not distortions to, as it were, to denigrate the effort of government or the effort of our society. Notwithstanding that, Parliament is dutifully doing its work as far as its role in exercising the oversight responsibility over the executive is concerned. Once notice has been served to the energy minister to provide certain details, certainly time must be given that the energy minister will appear before them in Parliament. He is a member of Parliament himself. With time, he will appear before them in Parliament to serve them. And we must wait. Certainly, no one is running away from this country.
No, but would the story be the same if it was the other, or your opponent?
Certainly.
Really?
Certainly. You know,
isn't it so when you are in power? Because should you not tell the people before you even start this whole thing? Do you have to wait for the people to come and ask you what you are trading out there?
Let me ask you a question. Is government trading with the gold reserves in Bank of Ghana?
What?
I'm asking you this question. Is government trading with the gold reserves in Bank of Ghana?
Government is trading with our gold. Whether it's reserved or not, it is our gold.
I'm coming. Is government, does government own a state-owned multinational mining company in Ghana that we say that, yes, the gold from Angola Ashanti or Gold Fields Limited is for the people of Ghana, and as a result of that, it is this gold that government is trading with? Certainly no.
What are you trying to say? Yes.
What I'm trying to say is that, justifiably, when you say our gold, we know government is using our resources to purchase the gold.
Exactly.
We don't mine gold as a country that the government, we have a mining corporation, that this mining corporation or company is for Ghana. Granted, my brother may have a mining company. Government is buying from this company to, as it were, to get maybe the price, the commodity in a cheaper form to go and trade. Once you buy it in a raw form locally, certainly the price will be different from taking it to the international market, where the bullion market, where we have certain prices. Government will get it a bit lesser so that the
no, if I say our gold,
should I talk about
wait. The point you're making is a little bit dicey. If I say our gold, whether it is in reserves or not, once it's on our land, is our gold. If there's any implication one day, it is us that will be taxed for it. So if I say our gold, I have every right to say it. Do you understand?
No, granted. Even once you use your money, bring the resource of government in buying.
Because
it is still ours. But I just want to.
When we go for loan from the international market, it is burdened on the Ghanaian man or woman to pay.
We are educating people. And the education aspect of it. Once we mention our gold, and we don't tell the people how this gold is achieved. Certainly, one day somebody may rise out that, yes, they go from Angola gold, they go from Newmont is our gold and the likes. But we have legal regimes governing these things.
But you know, in saying that, when you say we should explain to our people for them to understand that it's our money that we are using to buy the gold, why is it difficult that when we also ask to come up with the policy in this whole gold for oil deal, till now Parliament has not received it? We need to move from that, because we are politicians, and such things you need to be open to Ghanaians so that Ghanaians will know if there are inputs to be made here and there, then they can make it. But if we make it a blanket statement and say, for the past 4, 5, 6 months, Parliament has asked the Energy Minister for this document, he keeps on promising that he will bring it. How do we get that information? Parliament is...
Anyway...
It's difficult.
Let's see what the future holds. Let's see what the future holds with that.
No, let's leave that for Parliament.
Yeah, we are hoping. We know that the Energy Minister, the Finance Minister will be addressing Parliament very soon, and we'll get to know about it. Hopefully it will be in there. So I don't want to push it too much. Hopefully it will be in there, and Ghanaians will get to know more about it. But the good thing is that we have more gold in our reserves. But will it translate into our pockets, Enoch?
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
Yes, certainly.
So we'll pay school feeding.
Oh, government has been truthful to the good people of Ghana as far as the challenges of our country are concerned. That yes, we are facing challenges, and we know. Granted, we have money, and I think the school feeding caterers have been promised that sooner they will be paid.
Yeah.
Notwithstanding the school feeding caterers alone, we have the buffer store contractors or the suppliers. They have also been promised that I think from today, July 17th, going, we should be seeing certain payments flowing into those these suppliers so that they can also continue their businesses. We have road contracts that we are owing similar, and government is owing a lot as far as services are concerned. We shouldn't lose sight of the fact that government is the largest employer in our country, and all this burden goes into the consulting finance on government.
Right.
And looking at the shocks, the crisis that has bedeviled the world, including our country, we cannot say that government is not in trouble. But government is doing all what is humanly possible to serve our country and good people of Ghana well. So, yes, we know we can't sit here, Rosalind, and say all is well.
Well.
Yeah, but government is doing his best. Doing its best.
Anyway, all right, so our next story has to do with, Galamsey. Of course, we know this Galamsey matters. We don't know how we can fight it. The fight is still ongoing. But we are not getting a solution, Enoch. What's the problem?
The problem with Galamsey is that we politicians are dishonest. I must be frank that we politicians are dishonest. The president put his presidency on the line as far as the fight against Galamsey is concerned. For the first time in the history of our country that a certain president has put his presidency on the line means that there was a political will as far as the fight against Galamsey was concerned. Going into the 2020 elections, what did we see? We saw Kweku Boahen and his cohorts moving from one Galamsey side to the other, telling them that they are not against Galamsey, it is this government. So it became a political matter. And once we don't have the national unity in fighting this court, Galamsey is a security matter, whether you like it or yes. It affects our rivers, it affects our environment, it affects our natural, it affects everything. And it affects livelihood as well. So it affects livelihood as well. And livelihood matters are also security matters. If I am hungry, if my brother is hungry, the decisions that you make are different. Because you think of a whole lot of things, whether to do things legally or to do things illegally to survive. So it's a security matter. So we need a national consensus. The approach was good. That media coalition against illegal mining or Galamsey and a whole lot of things. But you see, the understanding and the workings into this Galamsey thing, basically politicians did not get the real understanding of the Galamsey menace. Let me be frank here. Because one, in fighting against Galamsey, there should be certain structures put in place, and the structures are that once people have worked within this field for quite a long time, it is difficult taking them away overnight. That someone who knows that if I go to the field,
so it's a gradual process.
I'm coming. Once you get to the field, just within a space of let's say 8 hours, you are capable of taking home like say 500 or 1,000 Ghana cedis minimum. Somebody is working as a security, taking a home and 500 cedis or 400 cedis in Accra here. Somebody will go to just a stream around behind his house, and with what they call kuli, overnight 300, 200 cedis, 500 cedis. So it's a flourishing venture for them, and taking them away, one, affects your political future, two, affects the livelihood of the people, three, it disintegrates the local economies and them, because these giant multinational companies that we see, the gold that they produce, they have stability agreements with governments that they repatriate almost about 80, 90, 100% of their proceeds in escrow accounts overseas. That those monies do not even get the benefit of coming back into our local economy to sustain our local economy. But these monies that these small Galamseyers get, they spend within these local economies and food vendors, artisans, and all. So
the money keeps going around.
Keeps going around. So the moment you stop these people once, the net effect. I am from a mining town, from Obuasi.
Okay.
The net effect that gets into this local economies is huge, and the implication, the talks, the narratives, and the discussions, the living standards of the people gets going down in life. Government did well by bringing in an intervention that is introducing them into agriculture, giving them skill. When you get to Dunkwa Ofen, before you get to Ayamfure, there is a nursery field over there where the Ministry of Natural Resources supported that they were nursing oil palm seedlings and citrus and a whole lot of seedlings for our people, that those who were into Galamsey should just take the alternative source of livelihood in going into other field of endeavor, so that once you are moving them away from this end, you can take them there. Government also, again, brought in these community mining schemes that, yes, once still people are interested in mining, government cannot stop them from mining. So let us bring in these community mining schemes, prepare the environment or the ground for them, make sure that those fields are regulated as far as our laws, our regulations are concerned, so that they can also mine in an environmentally friendly manner. They get their gold, they sell it, protect their lives, the environment as well, and all those things. But you see, people are still adamant of these processes. You go to these mining communities, and people go to the rivers at night while the security are asleep to go and mine.
But sometimes, recently we had a conversation with some of them, and they actually did say some of them even had a conversation with the security. They pay the security, and the security allow them to go mine.
You see, everywhere where there's money, there's cartel business, oil. We have cartel business, the cartels in oil. In terms of gold, we have cartels in gold. You cannot take this cartel, how do you call it? Even in cocaine, the cocaine trade. All this trade that generates huge sums of money. We have cartels in these businesses that you cannot do away with it. People collude with security agencies or security officials to be able to perpetuate all these crimes. And before you can engage yourself in this, you need to get certain influential security officers behind so that you can perpetuate these things. And we cannot sit here and lie that some of these security men are dishonest, are indisciplined, that they don't involve themselves in these menace. And should they do their work as professionals, certainly we will be able to nip them in the bud. But because the politicians are involved, because the politicians are not ready and interested in power, Galamsey continues to flourish. Being it NDC, being it NPP. Because if NPP is fighting Galamsey, NDC will be promising them that when we come, you will be doing Galamsey. If NDC is fighting, you see, securitization of Galamsey started from former President Rawlings's time, through President Kufuor's time in 2006. President Mills' time, securitization in 2013. I think March 2013, there was a strong security architecture that even repatriated almost about 4,000 Chinese miners back to their country. They were repatriated back to their country in 2013. March to June 2013. There was a strong security force. But President Kufuor has invested much in the securitization of these Galamsey menace with Operation Vanguard,
but still,
Operation Halt.
Let me ask Benjamin, because Benjamin, how you are not in Ghana, so let me ask how it's been done in other African countries that they've been able to fight Galamsey.
I think the answer to this question is that we lack the willpower to enforce our laws. When my brother was speaking, my brother kept on saying that it's political players. But you see, in other parts of the world, they ensure that the laws work. In our part of the world, the law is not working. Why do I say so? Look at during the presidential primaries that the NDC had, we had the chance of traveling with President Mahama across the whole country. So I got to see the Galamsey sites. There were places we got to, and then you could just ask yourself, with the color of the water that people were still fetching from streams, the health implications. But these gentlemen, when they see the convoy passing, they don't stop what they are doing. They laugh to us.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So then I said, if they have this freedom to believe that nobody can do anything to them, is it because the laws are not working? Remember, this effect of Galamsey is not only on the mining communities. It transcends the whole country. Our water bodies are being destroyed here and there. I sit back and I ask that the Operation Vanguard, like you said, the other operations that the government had sanctioned, they go and arrest the guys who are digging the pits, who are doing the mining. But these guys
are working for someone. Sometimes they're working for someone.
They can't buy those excavators. The machines that they use for this Galamsey thing, they are extremely expensive. So you ask yourself, why are we going after those working there and not going after their financiers? So I thought at a point, I said to people that, look, it looks like President Akufo-Addo is cracking the whip. But when he passed a comment and said Akunta Mining had done nothing wrong, for me, that was an indictment on the fight of Galamsey. Because if you have asked that institutions investigate the whole menace. And you go on a platform and then you say one of the institutions that were being investigated had done nothing wrong. Then what are you saying?
Maybe they had done nothing wrong.
But this is something before a committee. Couldn't the president have waited for the committee to come up with the report and say, oh, Akunta Mining did nothing? It's like preempting the judgment. And for me, that became something that was an indictment on the whole process. Because if the president has singled out Akunta Mining and said they had done nothing wrong, others will also come out and say, if you say Akunta Mining did nothing wrong, we also did nothing wrong. But again, it is time we put all hands on deck to fight this menace. The presidency, civil society organizations, the media, the judiciary. Let's think about the next generation, not only us. Because if we are going to look at the money we are making from mining, the money that we are making at the expense of the environment, not only for today, but to the generations that are yet unborn, then we are doing ourselves a huge disservice. And I believe that, like he said, political actors, for example, if they are fighting Galamsey, and the NDC goes and says that, no, when we come, we'll regularize Galamsey, it doesn't help the fight. We should come together. But we'll only come together when we see that the government of the day is doing what is needed to fight the menace. Then we can all collectively help in this regard.
But, you know, the NDC has actually said that, you know, Galamsey is not bad as it's been projected.
Yes.
If controlled.
Regulated.
If
properly.
regulated.
Yes.
You
Properly.
agree with that?
Yes, because I believe that, like you said, the spiral effect in a community, like you said, from Obuasi, when they mine, they have money, they buy food, they buy clothes, the money, you know, goes rounds in that community. But if you regularize it, in typical in South Africa, you never hear issues of Galamsey because it's regularized. Government have control over all the mining sites. So it leases out to an organization or a company, and the company comes out and says, we are bringing people to come and work in there. Government ensures that there are rules that you need to follow. Once you follow that rule, you've never heard it anywhere in the world about Galamsey, except from Ghana, where, and I believe
your place, they call it Zamzam, South Africa.
Yeah, but they don't do it at the proportion we see in Ghana. Just last 2 months,
what I was churning out is that every community or society has a way of describing the illegal
mining.
South Africa, they call it Zamzam.
Yes. And you realize that there was recently a mining cave that fell in and some people died. I think about 8 people 3 months ago in South Africa. And so that concession that was given to that company, government had to hold them responsible. In Ghana, we hear people dying out of Galamsey, and you don't hold anybody responsible.
Yeah, 2 died this weekend.
You don't hold anybody responsible because it's illegal what they are doing. But if we are able to come up with laws that regulate it, I'm sure that we can be able to.
We have so many laws.
Yes.
It's how to implement them.
Exactly.
A lot of laws in Ghana.
Exactly.
Laws like even when the police stops you, you have 24 hours within which to present yourself. And the police will tell you that, oh, because we don't have, system to be able to bring you later, we have to make sure that you are there immediately we arrest.
And that is an illegality.
On the offense.
I also take deep concern when you said some of our security personnel who are supposed to be arresting the people are working. Because I also heard that now it's something I've heard, I've not confirmed it, that the military, they lobby to be taken to such site.
Maybe some of them.
Some.
Okay.
I've not confirmed it, but they said some of them love to go there because of the money they make after a month or 2. So you see, when you send people to go fight and become part of the process, you cannot achieve anything.
This is definitely a world war.
Yeah.
This is something that the policies that have been put in place ought to be. I don't know the right word to use. It ought to be enforced.
Yeah.
It's the enforcement that is why we have a problem.
Absolutely.
Because if it's regularized, we know that things are going to be better. But how do we regularize it, Enoch?
So you see, like my brother said, I've really loved his disposition as far as this mandate is concerned. We need a concerted effort, all and sundry, a unified, corroborated effort between both political actors. We have 2 giant political parties in Ghana, the National Democratic Congress and the New Patriotic Party. One cannot be seen to be fighting and the other seen to be padding the illegalities at the back. That yes, because of political power. But if we see this as a menace, as a disaster, as a pandemic, then we begin to fight together. We can leave this in the back.
Absolutely.
If the president give an instruction, just an instruction that within the next 24 hours, he doesn't want to see these things, all these things wouldn't be seen.
Absolutely.
That is a fact. But because of the political nature of our system and how we do things, people begin to fight, begin to act. But you see the real actions. That is why these military people go to the field and they are lobbying to go there. Because you see the authority is not that strong there that go and do this. It is like go and intimidate, just go and let them see that there's something so that they ward off themselves. But if it is that go and crash them off, but Rosalind, they can't.
Yeah.
They can't work.
Absolutely.
Let's see that president says that all the street chief executives in our country, over 260 or 250 DCs, within the next 24 hours, if I see one excavator in your district, you'll be fired.
It will happen.
Let the IGP say that all district commanders within the Ghana Police Service in all these police districts in Ghana, if I see one excavator in the bush, you'll be prosecuted as a police commander. And let's see within the next 24 hours if we will see a single galamsey in this country. But you see the nature of our politics, like I said, if it is a unified fight, then we can resolve this impasse.
Then we need to stop using it for politics.
If it's a unified fight, then we can stop this thing. But if it is not unified, who will want to lose political power?
That's the thing. Anyway, let's move on to our next topic, which happened over the weekend, where we know that the president trended some time ago, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, because the national anthem was being played and a chief refused to stand up. He got upset and told his aides to tell the chief to stand up. Well, the chief came out later to come and say that he was seated because of health reasons. Now, over the weekend, he's trending again because when the national anthem was being played, his daughter was standing right next to him and was on the phone. Until her phone call was done, she didn't stop. She had to be on the phone, and people have come after the president for ignoring the fact that his daughter was on the phone whilst the national anthem was being played. Let's take a look at the video. Okay, so take a look at the video. Let me take our opinions on it. Who wants to go first?
This is something he doesn't want.
So let him go first. Go first.
Go first.
You know, the national anthem represents the soul and the spirit and the soul of our country. As far as the national anthem is concerned, in the diplomatic circles, it's one of the tenets that sells our country, identify Ghana as Ghana. You know, the symbols of our country represent the nation, the soul, the spirit. Whatever tenets that we have in our constitution, these emblems stand for. So in playing the national anthem, wherever you are, unless you are incapacitated or one way or the other, on health grounds or on something, that you can decide. But even on that score, you need to sit down quietly, not to be seen to be doing any other thing apart from what is being played, the national anthem. So if you are not sick, if you are not incapacitated in any manner, if you are an officer in a uniform, you salute. If you are not an officer in a uniform, you stand attentively, whatever form, and observe the national anthem being played. But from what I did not see, I have not seen.
You've not seen the video?
No, I've not seen the video.
Okay.
But if my sister Dopia stood, did not concentrate as far as the national anthem is concerned, it's one of the things that she should officially apologize to the good people of Ghana. Probably we don't know. You know, she was celebrating the 30th anniversary of her late mother. And at that time, probably knowing your mother has passed on some time back, knowing how well she loved the mother, and if her mother was to be alive, she might have been the first lady of the country at the time, and a whole lot of, so the thoughts that might have gone through her head, you can't take that duress or any other thing. But notwithstanding the condition which she was in, and the sort of call that was disturbing or distracting her, he should do the honor by apologizing to the good people of Ghana, because it is dishonorable.
But how come her father couldn't tell her? Her father she was standing next to her father. Her father.
Oh, probably
he didn't see.
Probably he told her after the national anthem.
After, but when the chief was seated,
when the chief was seated,
yes,
it was after the national anthem that he instructed the regional minister to go and confront him.
Really?
It was after the, oh yes,
Okay.
just watch the video.
Yeah.
Okay.
During the launch of the Green Ghana or something like
Yeah,
the
the Green
Ghana.
It was after the period of national anthem, because if the president has instructed during the period of national anthem, he would have also been part of
Okay.
the people obstructing or
But we watched the
disrespecting
whole
period of national
video,
anthem.
and the whole video after the whole. So she wasn't on her phone throughout. She was on her phone probably the first part, and then after she stood attentively, and then it was done, and then they all sat down. We didn't see the president speaking.
Oh, certainly he will speak to
Okay,
him.
all right.
The president, I know him.
All right.
Will not condone with illegality. Certainly he will speak with him, and certainly we should be looking forward to see
Her apologizing.
apologizing
Okay.
to the people of Ghana. Probably, as I said, the state in which she was in, remembering the demise of her mother for the past 30 years, and going through, because she's the first daughter of the president, and if Rosalind, if your mother were to be alive, she would have been the first lady of the country. Remembering that instance, that sober move, that kind of thing. And you don't know the type of call that came in, because she was doing something to, as it were,
Thank you.
We'll take the words out of your mouth. We wanted you to learn. Let me come to you, Benjamin.
I think again it goes to enforcing our laws. And for me, when I saw the video from the Green Ghana program, and when the video started circulating, I said the nature, how furious His Excellency the President was, and how he asked the Greater Accra Regional Minister, what's his name, Henry Korte, to go down, with the gesturing and all of that. And I asked, what happened? The president seems furious. So it was afterwards that we got to hear of the story. I think it was the chief of Mimpasem, yeah. And he indicated that he was not feeling well, and he came up with an apology and wrote to the presidency. So for me, at that point, I said, that is brilliant. The president is enforcing the law. And for the chief to come out and apologize and say, look, I was not feeling well, made much more sense. So when I watched the video of the president and the daughter, the first thing that came to my mind was that we have different set of laws for different set of people per the actions of the president. Because remember, at the Green Ghana program, there was a days. The president was on the days, but could spot the chief in the crowd. This is the daughter of His Excellency the President standing next to his father. You can't tell me the father didn't see her being on phone for that long period of a time. And for me, watching it, I said, I expected the president to have put her also just like he did for the Mimpasem chief. But again, like my brother said, irrespective of the circumstance that you find yourself in, this is the national anthem of the Republic of Ghana. It's not the national anthem of the NPP. It's not the national anthem of her family. It's of the country. So irrespective of whatever you are doing, you need to respect it. And so for me, it's early days. She should come up with an apology. And I think the apology should also stem up from the presidency, because the president should let us know why he could stamp authority on somebody but couldn't stamp authority on her own, on his own daughter. And I think this should be a lesson to all of us, that we should enforce the law as it is, but not have individual preferences. Because when you have individual preferences, then it seeks to defeat. Right now, it has defeated what the president did nicely by how he became furious.
Everybody praised him.
Everybody praised him. Yeah. Now we've realized that we shouldn't have praised him, because he did it selectively. With the daughter, it's different. And the daughter.
But from what Enoch is saying, probably after he told his daughter what you did was wrong.
Yes, but immediately there should be a statement coming out.
Okay, so there should be a statement, but there's actually, uproar on social media. This message came in. Blessed Child says, why the national anthem? Kwesi, you said it right. By the way, what is the essence of playing the national anthem at the 30th anniversary of the death of Akufo-Addo's former girlfriend or wife? So this is even a question here. Why the national anthem at your former girlfriend or wife's 30th anniversary of passing?
Why do we use the word girlfriend? I thought it was the wife.
It was the wife.
It was the wife?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. The late wife.
See, the president represents, he's the first gentleman of the land. And whatever program of the sort that he arrives at, Once he's there, Ghana is there. So there's nothing wrong playing the national anthem at that event. Nothing wrong at all. There's nothing wrong at all playing the national anthem at that event. And you see, the head of security at the time should be the person that we should be pointing fingers at, even not the president. Though as far as enforcing our laws are concerned, it is the security operative, the police, and the like. So at that event, the head of security at that event, whether the police commander of Mampong, who was there, should have been the person to reprimand all those people, the erring people, as far as they play the national anthem are concerned. It shouldn't be the president. You see, sometimes we put so much blame on politicians, pick up so much pressure to ourselves because of what the president did.
That's the whole point.
That is why.
You set a precedence, you ought to keep it.
Exactly.
But people who are responsible for enforcing our laws are the police service. And at that event, the police were there. The police were there.
But the police were at the plant event as well.
Yes, the police were there.
But the president did take the other step, to do what he did, which was good. Listen,
we are praising
what he did
at that time
was perfect because what I saw was somebody who, when we cut his blood, we'll see red, gold, green with a black star in there.
Absolutely.
Patriotism.
Yes.
That is it. Like, he's so passionate about it that you cannot sit whilst the national anthem is being played. He didn't say, I'm just the president. He said, I am a Ghanaian.
Yes.
So what stops you from doing same with your daughter, who is standing next to you? That's the only reason why Ghanaians are not happy.
It is only fair that we acknowledge that probably the president wouldn't have been selective as far as reprimanding people erring against the play of our national anthem is concerned. Because the footage did not capture the reaction of the president to his daughter. We shouldn't say that
the camera was on them for a very long time.
No,
you haven't watched the video.
right?
No, you see, I'm saying that.
Yeah.
I'm saying that during the play of the national anthem, the president would never stop.
No,
to reprimand
even
somebody.
after,
we are
even
talking about
after, the camera was on.
I have not had the
Okay.
opportunity of
The camera
watching
was
this.
on.
All right, the camera was on.
So certainly, but me, I am requesting that my sister Dokuya issues a statement to apologize to the good people of Ghana. But we all attest to the fact that during the first moments of the national anthem, she was on phone, but subsequently she came back to her senses and
The call was
respected.
over.
Yes, respected the play of the national anthem at that time. Probably she was conscious at that time, but not conscious at the start of it. We must pardon her, but she must also come out to apologize to the people of Ghana. Yes, what I did was wrong.
I mean, to err is human. We all err sometimes.
Of course, we agree on that.
We all err.
Even the president apologizes.
Yeah, it's
Everybody,
very,
yes.
the president apologizes.
it's
It's
very
Certainly.
imperative that we set the record straight and that the right thing is done. And I think the right thing is by them issuing out a statement. Like I said, it's not too late. Coming up, the daughter issuing out a statement, apologizing to the good people of Ghana, and the president doing same, because he is the chief enforcer of all the regulations and the laws we have in Ghana. So once he has set a pace, we follow the lead. So he should ensure that whatever he has access to follow, he does the same thing.
Fantastic. We have some messages on Facebook. Oh, is our video ready? Should we play the video before? Okay, let's take a message. Let's take our messages from Facebook. Some messages came in. We'll quickly read the messages, and some of the messages that have come in. Okay, so the first message reads, it's from Ronnie. Said, when I consider the rate at which our women are producing babies, I don't think all the world's child welfare NGOs combined can save the African children. In fact, if children were a commodity, there would have been a serious glut on the market. I think this is to do with poverty alleviation. Maybe instead of those NGOs wasting our time on those fruitless save the child undertakings, they should rather consider prevention of such birth. How about we declare teenage or married pregnancies illegal in Africa? How about we declare that all women desirous of bearing children should have spare rooms for the children? In Africa, more children are exposed to porn by default than adults because they share the same room with their mothers and are 100% aware of all that goes on under the sheets. This is why the African girl child has almost zero morals nowadays. I don't see any bright future for Africa as we produce more babies than anything of value. Okay.
That's serious, eh?
That's serious, but is he making a valid point?
Yeah, but that is a blanket kind of a statement. I think that, look, we should not just condemn ourselves as Africans. There's hope. We can also become like them. But it takes time. But if we should just condemn ourselves, then that means that we are not able to fight for ourselves. We should rather be focused and fight.
You know, we take a country like China. When they realized there was overpopulation, they put some rules down, rules and regulations. You can't have
more than
one child.
Even in Japan as well.
And it's worked for them.
Yeah.
So can we do the same, or it will be too much on us?
Rosalind, population is also a resource.
Yeah.
Population is a resource. The abundance of resource Africa we have, our population is also key. And we don't have, our population is not so much that our continent cannot contain. So there's no need doing this sort of regulation. Okay. I believe that our social systems and social infrastructures must be improved. The reduction in poverty on our continent, giving opportunity to the youth, or putting in systems that will contain the our youthful population, our human, the best of our human resource potentials to stay on our continent and help our continent develop. It's what should be paramount on our minds.
But what if we are producing and we can't take care of them? What about that?
As it stands now, as it stands now, we are able to take care of our people.
Have you seen the number of street children?
On the streets of Accra?
Yes, on the streets of Accra.
How do you see about those street children?
How do I see?
Yes, what do you see from those street children? The contractors, you see? But certainly on November, the Supreme Court will make a ruling
on
November.
On that,
So let's wait patiently.
I cannot wait for it.
I'm waiting patiently
so
for that
passionate about it. I am so passionate about it.
Let's see is here. You see, we are waiting patiently for that ruling.
I cannot. I mean, this is something I have prayed about it.
You know, I was even asking.
I used to give out money. I used to give out money until I saw it was a business. Then I stopped.
I don't give money to them.
No, I used to. Initially, I thought they were underprivileged, impoverished. So anytime I pass, I give money. But when I saw it was a business, I said, oh, really? Then.
So people actually bring them to the street?
Yeah, so I remember somewhere last week, a child walked up to me and said to me,
areas in Accra where they go and bring them.
Walked up to me and said to me that, oh, the mother says they don't have money to take them home, they'll have to walk, so I should give money. I said to the child, you are too young to come back. Call your mother, tell your mother to come to me and I will help your mother. There was no mother. I waited for more than 20 minutes. When I decided to drive off, the child had gone to the next bus stop waiting for the next spray.
Wow.
Yeah.
Rosie, you know what thing? They come and where they stand, they have jurisdictions. 37 under the tree, the first traffic light. That is somebody's jurisdiction there. So if you are a different beggar, you can't bring your group
your children there.
Yeah, they'll fight you there.
So this
when
is
you see them fighting,
so this
it's about
is where we are talking about poverty becoming
a business.
You see, they just go and bring them. Even some are from outside Ghana. This is the same child trafficking matter.
Yeah.
They bring them from some of them are not even Ghanaians. They bring them from outside, bring them here on the street to come and beg. At the end of the day, they make sales to their agents.
It's a bad thing.
Your topic of child human trafficking and poverty has really made my day, considering the passion with which your panelists carried out the discussion. I also appreciate it from the non-political angle to the discussion. Thank you. This is coming from William Jabu. Hi, dear Rosalind. In fact, these two guys, in my opinion, are relatively objective. I pray we have future politicians emulate this objectivity. Law enforcement has been our main challenge. Elsewhere, people can do worse things, but they are scared of the sanctions. When are we going to emulate that? God save us. Only God knows when we are going to do that. Or what Hene Akwesi Champon Kwachi says, Ghanaians need a visionary leader and a true legend like Honorable Dr. Usu Efri Akoto. Okay, so we've been getting this message a lot. Let me quickly jump to Bra Moro. The president keeps proving to Ghanaians that he is beyond incompetent. He deserves to be impeached. His own family now doesn't respect Ghana and Ghanaians. Really? Have we gotten there, Bra Moro? Really? No, we haven't gotten there, Bra Moro. But the NPP, actually, you had your annual Thanksgiving service. Okay. So when did you start this annual Thanksgiving service?
We've been thanking God throughout. But just that it has not been the media space. But currently, because now any positive thing that you are doing must be seen, that is why it is coming out. It is not the first time. During President Kufuor's time, when we were using Cindy Thompson's song, Mobro Hum for AJ and the likes, the NPP, we are largely a God-fearing political party. Largely God-fearing political party. So
But who is not a God-fearing political party?
I am talking as a new patriotic party activist.
Yeah.
I don't know of my brother's political party and their beliefs and their ideals. Their beliefs and ideals.
Right.
But we believe that it is God. So, you know, when the president was campaigning, the headline was, "The battle is the Lord's." The battle is the Lord's. So we always put God first. And that has been our mantra. And we'll continue to live in that and continue to live under the direction and the will of God. So almost every time we give praise to God. When there is problems, we commit that to prayer. We give it to God and God gives us directions. And we continue to do the same. Kudos to the national chairman, Mr. Stephen Ayesu team, the general secretary, Justin Frimpong Kudia, and the entire national executive body for institutionalizing this and deepening the ideals of God-fearing in the New Patriotic Party. We continue to live for God. And I know that with God, we are breaking the 8.
Were you there?
No, my mom was not too well.
Oh,
so I was with her at the
I hope
hospital.
she's well now.
She's well now.
We thank
She's well
God.
now.
We thank God. Benjamin, your take on it? When is NDC having theirs as well?
They have never had it.
You know, when my brother started talking about they being a God-fearing party, the only thing that came to mind is our finance minister, always in white, quoting Bible quotations, but doing the worst. So for me, I don't know what God they worship, but if you worship God, you don't just say it outwardly, you practice what God says we should practice. And the finance minister has been the worst finance minister we've ever had, but he's the single minister that have quoted every Bible verse than any other minister. So yes, we thank God that we are thanking God, and we hope that God blesses you and takes you to a position so that the NDC will come.
God will never mislead
so what's the
his people.
significance of this?
Ben,
yes.
God never misleads his people. I'm
asking a question. What's the significance of the annual,
The significance?
Yes.
God first.
God first.
Oh, okay.
God first.
All right.
Jinyame.
Okay.
It's a symbol. So God first. And we believe that with God and with the candidate of the National Democratic Congress, who are they bringing? The former president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
So who are you bringing?
No, I'm coming. Who are they bringing? His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
No, we are not.
The one
Martin
Amidu
He's
told us.
already there.
The one Martin Amidu told us.
Yes.
No, he has not filed with the Electoral Commission. So you are not bringing him.
No, we brought him.
Until he files with the
brought
Electoral Commission to contest.
No, we brought him.
No, it's a procedural
He
matter.
said, who are we bringing? We've already voted for him.
No, until he files.
Yes.
It is not confirmed. You can change him.
No, we can't change him.
Once we start discussing that he's the person that Martin Amidu said Airbus.
Wait, do you have a girlfriend seated there? Because you keep looking there.
He's looking at the Leonard Council to see
Leonard Council keeps smiling.
Because you keep looking at him.
Yeah.
Or you're waiting for his approval for whatever you are saying.
He keeps smiling. And your cameraman, they keep smiling.
I'm sitting here. Am I not enough?
Okay, so don't worry, we'll go for lunch.
Anyway, gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. We are super grateful.
John Dramani Mahama.
Who are you bringing though? Who are your top 5? We still don't know your top 5.
We have a top 10.
Yes, but who are your top 5?
No, we have a top 10.
We know you have 10.
Yes.
They went for verdicts, and we know that out of the verdict, we should hear of 5. So who are going? Who
the delegates in August will give us the top 5.
Okay.
Then in November, they'll give us the best one.
Okay, all right. In November, we'll get the best. So
who will be taking the oath of office come January 7th, 2025?
We'll get to know that, right? Okay, so thank you so much for being here. But for those of you at home, please send in your messages because we know that you are itching to be a part of the conversation. We are giving you the opportunity to be a part of it. So just send in your messages and we'll read it, okay? Any of the topics that we are discussing. Of course, we've spoken a lot this morning. We're also going to our divorce series. So if you have any issues with that, let's hear from you. And of course, today we are also going to have, somebody who has gone through it, who will tell us their experience. But Abena Esonyameye Kaswa says, good morning, host. Fantastic news. Breaking the 8 is possible with Dr. Bawumiasu. Let's all support him for Victory 2024. My special regards to Honorable Mavis Hawa Kumsi and Honorable Anita Obo Love Emisa from Abena Esonyameye Kaswa. Okay. Benji Ojan says, please, that's the Jagaban base in South Africa. He's doing what the High Commissioner in South Africa can't do. God bless you more. BKQ. That's you, right, Benjamin? Okay. Don Mer says, BKQ, my first time watching Mr. Kwashi. God bless him and the NDC. The NPP administration have shown nothing but lies and reckless spending. Mahama Beba. Okay. Don Mer continues to say, we are all in Ghana as the NPP has decided to sink this country. 2024 is not far. He continues to see how the NPP guy is just not making sense. NPP is confused. They promise having the men, but now they have shown that and they have nothing to offer. President Mahama was an angel. Okay, well, Bettina Dosu Buxton says. Let me read my messages. You can don't worry. Okay, gentlemen. Let me just read this and then I give the opportunity to speak. Okay. Well, Bettina Dosu Buxton says he's the chairman of the Council of Elders because he's full of wisdom. Watching you from South Africa, BKQ all the way. All right. Okay, so gentlemen, what you wanted to say, I'm giving you the opportunity to say it.
Martin,
so one at a time, please.
Yeah, okay. Martin, allow me see Ben Kaiser Amidu, the former special prosecutor and the former attorney general of the Republic, stated, and I'm quoting from what he stated, that during the late President Mills' time, may he so rest in perfect peace, he commissioned a committee to investigate the purchase of Airbus, which was led by the former president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. So, and I believe the special prosecutor is opening up this saga again, and certainly we will get to the bottom of it, with the family members of the former president involved, one, Mahama, and a whole lot of things. And certainly the beans will come out. We will spill the beans and we'll know what went into that. We remember the cocoa saga, the Amajaro saga, where His Excellency the president was mentioned, the Miswe Kanazure, the Burkinabe contractor who donated a gift of Ford Expedition. President Mahama loves Ford Expedition for the construction of the Eastern Corridor Road that's developed potholes overnight, just after taking the Ford Expedition, and a whole lot of things. So if this person is the person that they are filing with the Electoral Commission to contest 2024, that gives us hope that yes, indeed, the New Patriotic Party is capable of breaking the 8. You know what? He promised building 200 community day senior high schools in 4 years. How many of them did he build? President Akufo-Addo promised Agenda 111 district hospitals. Achimako Angoma is almost 70% complete. Other districts, check.
We haven't seen them completed yet. So no, I think that when you are done, then you can speak about it. Almost. You have promised, don't forget that in 2020, the president promised 88 hospitals. None of them were completed. And so don't worry at all. When it's completed by 2024, Rosalind, you can come back and speak about it.
I believe that you should be admitted to the medical school, the University of Ghana Medical School. So certainly you become a medical doctor because of the numerous number of hospitals that the president has built, and we may need health professionals.
I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be a doctor.
So you said our country well. A journalist.
I am very perfect with what I'm doing.
You'll be a fantastic practitioner. And the president will give you the opportunity.
No, I'm a fantastic journalist, but Benjamin, you want to be
and Benjamin too.
Rosalind,
you know his demeanor.
You know, Rosalind, I just came and I've been watching my brother say what he was saying, and I'm asking myself that it's like the NPP are good at this. Because if you want to quote Martin Amidu, the same Martin Amidu is telling us that President Nana Addo is the mother serpent of corruption. The same Martin Amidu is saying that the worst president we have had as a country is Nana Addo. The same Martin Amidu has made us aware that with Nana Addo, we can never defeat corruption. You talk about coming up with Agenda 111. You're mentioning and you say it's 70%, 60%, 30%. You've not completed any of them, have you?
Let's wait.
So why do you count something that we should wait for you to complete?
Let's wait.
You understand?
It will end
so
in praise.
our politics should be about...
No, we've actually been told that it will end in praise.
Yes,
so we are hoping it will end in praise.
Just like the finance minister said.
44 is supposed to be completed by the end of this year, right?
Yes, it will end in praise.
We are waiting.
We're hoping so.
When our elected flag bearer starts going around,
Is it the
then we'll start the commissioning.
Okay.
The ribbons will be there. You'll be there. I will make sure that you'll be there.
Worry at all.
So that the president and the flag bearer, they'll be cutting the ribbons. You hold the hand of our flag bearer to cut the ribbons of this agenda. I want this hospital.
Well, we want the best for Mother Ghana, and it will be great for us to have these hospitals commissioned. We'll be excited, like we're excited about the gold in our reserves, like we're excited about things getting better in Ghana, and so definitely we'll be excited to have these hospitals commissioned, and definitely I'll be there once I'm invited, to help
you have
cut
no option.
the ribbons.
You have no
but
option.
there were other messages. I wanted to quickly read that message, and then we can go. I think we have two other messages that we can read quickly, and then we can go. And I can thank my guests. Just about two more messages, and then I can thank my guests so that they can take leave this morning. Okay. It's okay. Let me just round up our conversation. So thank you so much for being here, gentlemen, and super grateful. My two guests have been Enoch Afuakwa, who is the NPP communicator. He represented NPP today. He was a little bit late, but he did apologize, and we have accepted it. And of course, coming all the way from South Africa, he's the Council of Elders Elder, chairman for the Council of Elders in South Africa. Benjamin Kwashi, Mr. Benjamin Kwashi, here resides in South Africa, and he represented the NDC this morning. He came with cash. We'll collect our cash. But coming up next is what's trending. We'll quickly delve into the world of trends. Of course, a lot has been trending over the weekend, and we'll celebrate all those who are celebrating their birthday today. Do stay.
Rosalind.
You have a birthday celebration?
The administrator.
Okay.
Dr. Richard Bodu.
Okay.
He's also a July born. He celebrated his birthday, I think, yesterday.
Okay, so happy birthday to you, Dr. Richard.
I'm the class captain for the July borns. 1st July.
And you feel like a celebration?
Yeah, so I'm the class captain. So all the July born celebrants, especially the legends, I'm waiting for them that they should all come. So that we make it